Well, good morning and hello to all of you. It's been a long time. Today we're going to talk about Thailand and the breaking news here. We're also going to talk about uh, travel updates for foreign and domestic tourism. We're going to talk about this new thing called a COVID pass, which is going to be rather interesting when I get into the topic. Um, I'll let you guys think about that. Hey, Anon, glad you dropped in there. Getting ready to walk out the door. That's okay, man. BC, how are you doing? Good to see you. I said hello to everybody else up in the live stream. So, those are the topics we'll be covering today. You may be asking yourself, Jeremy, why do you look like you're possibly about to die? Well, the reason is because for the last 6 days, I have been extremely sick, and I'm doing much better now. So, you guys, excuse me. I have to put on a little bit of moisture on my lips so I can talk. Okay. Um. So Thailand. So Thailand has undergone uh, something that we need to talk about, and that's these lockdowns. Okay. Thailand believes strongly in lockdowns. Let me tell you what I don't strongly believe in: lockdowns. The numbers are steady in Thailand as this lockdown continues. They made an announcement that Thailand was going to remain, or the dark red zones were going to remain under dark red zones until the 31st of this month. I don't know what good that's going to do. And and in that announcement, they allowed restaurants in shopping malls to reopen. And I'm sorry, not restaurants. They allow banks to reopen in shopping malls. So I don't. This is it. It just, I don't know. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't really know what's going on, but I am going to talk about the things that are going to affect you, and I kind of want to start. If I can get my app to pull up here. Yeah, hit that like button. The algorithm needs a tickle for sure. Sorry, we're off to a slow start here. I'm waiting on my slower than slow internet to bring up some articles. This is really causing me impatience right now. Good morning. Gotta love Thailand. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. And now that we got some people in here, we will get to the news momentarily. I promise. As soon as apps start to load, we'll get to the news. Or maybe we'll just use other news sources. How about that? Let's try that. Because this one does not seem to want to work. And if that's going to be the case, then I won't work with it. And I says, hey, your Mojo, good to see you, bud. And I says, DoMoreLife trying to minimize the negative impact on all important financial sector. Absolutely no relation to reduction in the bank balance guarantee to 1 million baht. I assume you're being sarcastic in that. I have to assume the negative impact on the financial sector is already beyond decimated. So I'm assuming that's sarcasm. Your Mojo said, oh, he's talking. Hello, Thailand. Scotty B, what's up, man? Good to see you, Scotty B. Glad you're in the house. Don C says the big mall here, Central Festival, is open for banks and is now a vaccine station on the whole 6th floor. They are making strides in the right direction. That's great because he's talking about in Pattaya, and Pattaya is a place that needs to reopen badly. I just saw some pictures for there. And I have to tell you, I was absolutely just pretty much heartbroken over the situation in Pattaya right now. It's I want to go down there, but I don't want to go down there. Yes, I'm drinking a sugary beverage, but I need a little caffeine this morning to get me up. I slept very hard last night. And I'm just being a little snarkish. Jimmy Reed, what's up? He says hello. Richard Cyphers, my man, good to see you. Hello from California. Here we go. Now, I want to go all the way back to, I also want to talk about how the desperation in Thailand is sinking in. It's starting to really, really, really sink in. And I want to talk about that. I'm looking at my screen now. Just give me time to get there is what I'm trying to say. I can't go any further than that. Okay, so let's talk about this article. If it will pull up, we'll talk about it. And if not, we'll go back to the first article. And it doesn't. There it goes. So imagine you're a tourist and you're coming in. There's Roy. Hey, Roy. What'd you say, Roy? I went to Bangkok, Pattaya Hospital, and they gave me my appointment for the jab next week. That's okay. Jabbing our way out of this is pretty much the only hope for Thailand. They've decided that, not me. So for those of you that don't know, imagine being a tourist right now and you signed up for the Phuket sandbox, and which they're still bringing people in, even though they've had many, many cases come in over the past week or so. They're still bringing people in. It's still open. And imagine you're a tourist and you've booked everything up through the sandbox. You've got your SHA Plus hotels booked. You've got your all your travel accommodations booked. Thank you guys for the likes, by the way. Really appreciate that. You got all that done, and then you get here, and part of Phuket is closed down. For example, the Phuket town lockdown lifted except downtown market. This was 17 hours ago. And it says, after active COVID testing revealed a reasonably low number of infections, notice that number is not given, the majority of last week's lockdown in the center of Phuket town has been lifted. Aside from the market, the municipality fresh market at the heart of the lockdown will still remain closed for several more days. So you come and you come and you're ready for vacation and you want to experience everything, and then you get here and it's not available to you. I just don't see how that's a step in the in a positive direction. Jamie says Thai Airways have announced 2 new classes on 2 new routes. 1st September, New York, Bangkok, $199. London, Bangkok, £199, and Perth to Phuket, $199. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Just have to take your word for it. You guys can do some research on that. Don C says expats here are working together to reach out and feed the needy. Good to see us expats doing good things. I agree, Don, 100%. If it wasn't for a large percentage of the expat community in Pattaya and in places like Phuket and Bangkok, there would be a lot more hungry people than there are right now, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Roy says how the tables turned. Thailand and Vietnam were bottom of the list with dealing with the situation on a data site from Japan. I've heard that, and there has been numerous calls for resignations among government officials here. It's just not looking good, and now they want to potentially implement this thing called a COVID pass, which I'm going to tell you about shortly, which, as Benjamin Hart so eloquently put it yesterday in his video, I am categorically against. I'm against it in every way, every shape, every manner, every form. There is nothing about the COVID pass that interests me at all. Nothing. Why? Because it takes away people's freedoms. It takes away your right to do stuff. Let's see. Jamie says the 2 new classes are Afghan plus. The plus includes a role. Yeah. Jamie, let me ask you a question. Are you trying to be funny or are you a troll? Just curious. Because I don't believe anybody's offering $200 flights anywhere, international flights. Just to be honest with you. Joe says, ladies of the night still working. They are. It's a different kind of work, but they're not working in the bars and clubs. The bars and clubs are closed down. There is no work there. There's no work there. Because they're not open. However, internet dating has become very, very lucrative and very, very popular in these places. So you can still go to your normal cities that have world-class nightlife and world-class entertainment venues, even though they're not open, and still have your world-class experience with your drinking companion of your choice. Don C says Joe must have gone back home to work on farms and such. Robert B, hello, my man. He says I was worried about you, but glad you responded to my message. I hope that's true. Richard Cyphers has just sent a $10 PayPal. Thank you very much, Mr. Richard. I love you for it, brother, because every little bit counts, and we definitely lost some revenue over the weekend with me being so sick. So I appreciate that, Mr. Richard. I'm going to show everybody your PayPal that you sent. Then I'll cover his first name up because he's got his middle initial in there. $10. Thank you very much, Mr. Richard. I appreciate that more than you could possibly imagine. And which reminds me, I need to send a quick text to one of our good friends. Okay. Okay, good. Roy says, every day now along John 10 Beach, there are lines of people for free food giving away from cars and trucks. That's a good thing, man. Very good thing. Yamui Mata said, wait a minute. I saw some other people's comments in there. Good morning, Mr. LMAO. Good to see you. Just FYI, I am feeling a little bit better this morning. I finally got some sleep last night. So hopefully today is the turning point. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully today is the turning point. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. Robert V, I was worried about you, but glad you responded to my message. Thank you very much, sir. No, I did not, Robert. I didn't have any of those symptoms, so I didn't. It's purely my gastrointestinal tract. It's my digestive system that's been causing the problems, which I have to get addressed, unfortunately. Red 92 says the old COVID passport has been the plan all along. Wait and see. Yeah, I agree. But we hope that doesn't come to fruition, just as we hope the COVID pass doesn't come to fruition, which I'm getting ready to talk about in just a minute. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to call you Mr. Yam. I'm sorry. I just don't know how to pronounce your whole name. He said, your thoughts on the COVID pass sounds like France, etc. So here's the deal with the COVID pass. I'm not even going to pull up an article, okay? Because it's so easy to remember. This is how much I hate this thing. Right now, first and foremost, you need to know that it's just a proposal, okay? They haven't outlined, nothing's been published. It's not been published in the World Gazette to the best of my knowledge. It's not law yet. But basically what it does, the most simplified version I can give you is if you're vaccinated, they give you a COVID pass. If you're not vaccinated, you don't get a COVID pass. Well, the COVID pass could have implications, according to CCSA, so that there may be restaurants that are open, but you can't go in without a COVID pass. There may be other businesses, other types of businesses that are open, but you can't go without a COVID pass. There may be interprovincial travel available, but you may not be able to go without a COVID pass. So foreign and domestic tourism is going to take I don't know so much foreign, but definitely domestic tourism will take a hit over this if it comes to fruition, which I pray it doesn't. Yes, I agree. It sounds like the madness in New York. I'm not familiar with France's policy, but I know what New York is doing, and it's just absolute. It's just not good. It's just not good. Has prices dropped for the long time dates? I see some fluctuation on the downside, Joe, but nothing really standing out there. Charles White says, Jamie, joking about oh yeah, we can't even leave that comment up. I hope he got removed if he's joking about that, because that is absolutely the word. Did we remove him? Robert, can you remove him completely, block him from the channel? That's not even remotely funny. Don C says, Roy, it's sad down there for sure. I would agree. We want to stay off that topic right now. Just stay off that topic right now because that's not what we're here to talk about. That's a political issue, and we try to stay away from political issues on here. Although, I'm going to talk about it at some point. I just don't know if it's going to be a channel members only video, if it's going to be in my channel members only line platform live video. I don't know where I'm going to talk about it, but I will talk about the Afghanistan stuff at some point. We're just not going to do it today. Now, Travel Eats, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Robert N has dropped I'll pin this message. That's the Cash App and the PayPal link in case you want to contribute to the channel. Always helps with funding for equipment. And when the government says I can travel again, I'll be traveling around making more content. I think this will be it's going to be as soon as things as soon as the interprovincial travel starts to open up, I'm going to go around as much as possible and show you guys what's really going on the ground, so there are no more questions about it. You can see it for yourself. And all contributions will go towards that. So thank you very much. Very interesting. Ray, what's up, man? Been a long time since I've seen you. We don't use the whole names of the jabs on here, Ray, which is totally cool. Don't be upset because you used it. I know you didn't know. Yes, they are. And that is a very good point. The Sino. Why are they using that? It's already been proven, at least here in Thailand, that, and by the CDC, they have disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a medical advisor. This is just information passing along to you. You should not take my advice at all, but you can listen to my suggestions. So this vaccine has proved to be somewhat futile against the latest variant of COVID. And what we've seen now is people that got 2 doses of that particular jab are now having to get a 3rd booster of a different jab. So why Thailand just ordered tens of millions more of that same jab is beyond logical comprehension. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know that it loses its efficacy after a certain number of days. It halves its efficacy. So that means the number of antibodies in your system are not going to be there. Why would you order that? Why would you order that for the people? Because it provides a temporary relief for 30 to 60 days. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I did not take that one. I took the AZ, and my second shot will also be AZ. I'm not going to mix and match and that kind of thing. That's just my personal choice. Let's see. Joe Jute says, "Get well, stay safe, hang in there." Thank you very much. I'm going to try, sir. Tim, what's up, buddy? He says, "Hey, everybody, what is going on? Jeremy, hope you feel better, bro." I do. I feel the best today that I felt since last Friday. So I think we made a step in the right direction today. I don't know. I got a lot of work to do after the live stream on my internship, which I'm so happy with. And then I have a class to teach later on today. So we'll see what happens. Everybody saying hello to Mike's. That's okay. Mike's is a good dude, and we're glad he dropped by. Joe says, "Do you accept crypto, ADA Cardano?" I do not currently accept crypto, but I can tell you that I have a crypto portfolio, and I have no problem putting money in Cardano. It's a little high right now. I don't want to buy in at this point. I know it went up well over $2. Right now, it's currently sitting. Let's see. Currently sitting at $2 and about 10 cents. So I'm waiting on a pullback for that, but I think everything else is looking remarkably well, and that makes me very happy. So what in the crypto world, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback from the big run we got and the accumulation now. Anyway, that's breaking news on crypto. Okay, Lyle says, "Tim, almost on time." I know, right? He's never on time, but it's okay. We still love him. I wondered why it was so hot in here, and it's because I have the air conditioner on. Hell. Travel Eat said, Lyle said, I got that. Tim says, "So get your shot, folks." Again, your personal decision, but I'm in agreement that it's probably a good idea to get a jab. If you're one of the people like me that was on the fence, I would consider getting the jab. A lot of people won't, and it is what it is. I'm not here to judge anybody, not at all. If you want to get it, it's available. If you don't, it's your personal choice. It's your personal freedom. And it is what it is. It's not like it's going away. There is no, I mean, it's not like this disease is going away, right? We're going to live with it forever, just like flu and everything else, unless they come up with some kind. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying, unless they come up with some kind of real vaccine that eradicates it, not some kind of jab that alleviates the symptoms that could potentially keep you from getting it. So, but yeah, if you live in Thailand, I highly recommend you grab a jab while you can. Don C says Travel Leaks right now is only 7%. The rate in Thailand. I'm not 100% on that number, Don, but I'll take your word for it. It's low. If you're talking about fully inoculated people, it's low. And Thailand's doing everything they can to get any kind of jab they can in here to be able to restart their economy. Thailand's economy is dying. It is. I'm sorry, but it's already decimated, and it is getting worse. It's going to take years for Thailand to come out of this recovery. And there, in my humble opinion, somebody's got to step outside the box and say, you know what? We just got to reopen the country. There can't be any of these, sure, you can have your check at the airport or whatever, your test and that kind of thing, but there can't be any more of these. You got to come in and quarantine for so many days and get a test. And then if you are positive, they're going to send you to a hospital and then you get to do it. Nobody wants to do that. No tourist wants to do that. And Thailand's going to have to do a lot of things to bring back the income streams that they've lost over the course of this very unfortunate event that is none of our faults. Tim says, yeah, Lyle on time, me, not even close. I hear you, buddy. Mr. Yam says, how the hell are they going to implement COVID Pass with such low vaccination rate? That is an excellent question. Mr. Yam, I will tell you that they have implemented far more restrictions with far less logic here in Thailand. The thought seems to be just like everybody down, right? And we're having this talk about the other day. I was discussing with a friend about how bad some of these lockdowns can be for people. In some cases, lockdowns can be good because you can, if you have a cluster, like let's say on an island, for example, right? You lock down the island for 14 days or whatever, the cluster is more than likely going to disappear, and you're going to help a lot of people that were sick. That's a little bit different story, okay? But now we've seen that the lockdowns, at least here in Thailand, and I can prove this with Thailand's own data, from their own government, okay, from the CCSA, the Ministry of Health, the cases are staying around 20,000 cases a day. The deaths today were up to 301 people that we lost. And these numbers have increased all the way as high as, I believe, 23,000 and something, or 22, very high 22s. And as all of this has been a steady incline and then a hold as this lockdown continues in these dark red provinces. It's just not working. It's not working. Even a prominent health doctor, even a prominent medical doctor here in Thailand came out and wrote a statement about this. In these lockdowns, you're getting more people that are just sitting around doing nothing, going broke, looking for alternative measures, ways to supplement their income. It's very unhealthy to be stuck inside pretty much all day. You don't have to be stuck inside all day, but most people are not. There's really nowhere to go if you're in a dark red zone. There are currently, to the best of my knowledge, 29 provinces in dark red zones. So if you're in a dark red zone, there's really nothing to do. There's nothing to. You can go to the bank now in the shopping mall. I guess that, but what can you do? Order takeaway food. You can't go to a park. You can't go to a movie theater. You can't go to a restaurant and sit down and have a meal inside the restaurant. You can't have any type of alcoholic beverage if you're in a dark red province. You can order you can have it from like 7-Eleven or whatever, but you can't go in, sit down, and have a beer. You can't drink at a bar because all the bars are closed. You can't enjoy the nightlife because all the nightlife is closed. You can't. There are so many things that you can't do right now in Thailand. Why would you want? Unless you live here like me and you are committed to seeing this thing through, I don't understand as a visitor why you would come unless you plan on retiring here. That's a different story. If you plan on retiring here, then getting through the next year is just something that you have to deal with. Charles McCaffrey says, hey, Tim, I'm going to be out of town. How about you take mine for me? Red says, I've been double jabbed for over 3 months and feel okay. If anything is going to kill me, it's the beer and fries. I hear you, buddy. Tim says, Charles already have mine. Don C says, Jamu, they are ramping up all over the country. Give them 60 days. They are ramping up, to their credit, to Thailand's credit. They are ramping up the jabs. I just hate that they ordered 20 or 30 million, whatever the number was, of the Sino. It just doesn't make sense. BC says, I don't see many businesses wanting to reject customers without a COVID pass unless they're mandated or required to. Exactly, BC. Exactly. JX, what's up, dude? Good to see you. He says, at least they're trying something compared to other countries. Yeah, but the something has been repeated over and 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 over for 18 months. And we're still not anywhere close to seeing successful numbers. So, I mean, I give credit to where credit's due. Credit to Thailand for trying. I always say, in the beginning, nobody knew how to deal with this thing. So when Thailand implemented their first lockdown, nationwide, closed the borders, did their thing, that was great. That would have also been the perfect time to order a whole bunch of jabs. But due to reasons that I won't speculate on this channel, they didn't. And therefore, when it came time for jabs to be in people's arms, there weren't. And that's why we're currently in the situation we are. That's cut and dry, as simple as I can put it. Thank you guys again for giving a thumbs up here. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Richard Cyphers, for the contribution. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Robert. Tim says, Charles, I might have to get a booster, but hey, bring it on. More power to you, Tim. Robert says, I'm in Phuket now. And how do you like it down there, Robert? Don C says, Tim, I saw that. I got my shot last March, so I'm watching the news on the possible booster. Tim says, why are they using it? Because they already bought it. Waste not, won't not. LOL. Okay. So we just had a cash app from JX. He says he's comparing it to the Philippines. $10 cash app from JX. Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate that, buddy. So hang on, let me open that back up and send you a lovely little heart. I'm not going to talk about what the Philippines has done right now, because that's another subject for another day, but we will talk about it at some point. The Philippines has took a doo-doo on vloggers and anybody that makes money on social media in any way, form, or fashion. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's see. Hey, Steve Banfield. Yep, can't put the whole name in there, but yeah, patch on the tire is a good way to put it. Steve, I agree. Charles White says, now Thailand backtracking on the efficacy of Sino, claiming 97%, ignoring the report of 50% reduction every 40 days. That was my point. The first report was it lost 50% of its efficacy every 40 days. So in other words, it lost half its antibodies every 40 days. Now, we know there has to be some truth to that because all the frontline healthcare workers here in Thailand, all of them, the doctors, the nurses, everybody, were originally given the Sino. They were given that jab, 2 jabs of it. And when the Delta came through, The they all, and I don't mean to laugh, it's not funny at all, but it's the Thai logic I'm laughing at. They all came down with COVID again, or not all of them, but I'm saying the vast majority of them were getting sick again with COVID. So what did they do? Now they all have to have boosters of the Pfizer, right? That's coming in, that jab, which takes away from other people getting their first jab of that particular jab of the Pfizer. So they know that the Sino doesn't work, and they're going to have to. I believe exactly what I couldn't show the comment. What Steve said, Steve Banfield. It's like using a Band-Aid to patch a bleeding wound that's still bleeding. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, guys, it doesn't. Ray says, I've had 3 shots of the mod. I'm part of the mod. Okay, we can't use, I don't know how many times I have to say this. We can't use the whole names of the vaccines, guys. So let's try not to do this. Tim says, Jeremy, well, the bags under your eyes is better than normal. Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I woke up this morning. My girlfriend looked at me and told me I look like a panda. Okay? That's how bad it is. Robert V retracted his message. Don C says, Ray, good news. I had the Big Mo last March. I'm watching about the possible booster. Fair enough. Mr. Y, good to see you, man. Very good to see you. He says, too obvious by now that none of it is about health. Well, I can't comment on that. I definitely can't comment on that. I can comment offline on that, but I can't comment on it here. But Mr. Y, we understand each other. Tim says, Don, Patia has been hit hard. No, yes, Patia has been hard. Phuket has decided. Oh, man, I lost it. I'm going to bring you guys up to date on the latest news and all that stuff here in a second. I like going through comments first because this helps me talk about it. Ray says everyone in the States can get a third booster or whatever. They took it opens everybody around September 15th. Okay. So first we need 2. Now we need 3. When are we going to need 4? That's my question. Don C says, yep, it's bad. Everything is closed. Talking about Patia. Prep for it. What's up, brother? I'm listening to the breaking news. Good, because I'm getting ready to do a deep dive into it. Tim says the economy is dying. It is a slow, painful death or a quick, don't feel a thing type. Slow and painful. Slow and painful. Mr. Yam says we have to live with C-19. At some point, you have to put the economy first. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Del Coker says totally agree on that. Don C says the issue is the healthcare system. Like every country can't absorb the cases. That's true. But the thing about it is, and Mr. Yam makes a great point here. Not cases, hospitalization should matter. I agree, 100% with that. 100%. Thailand's focused on the number of cases every day. The number of cases every day, you could be asymptomatic. You could not have any symptoms at all. You could have very mild symptoms that are going to pass in 3 or 4 days, especially if you've already had a jab or 2. So why not focus on the people that need care in hospitals, right? And focus on the people that need care that are severely ill with the illness, not focusing on the number of cases each day. The time to focus on that is over, long gone. All right. Mr. Y, thank you very, very much. I appreciate I'll cover that part up, but the $10 Cash App, thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you again. All contributions are always appreciated, and I definitely appreciate the contributions today. Thank you, guys. Mr. Yam says cases can vary from mild to asymptomatic that don't require a hospital bed. I agree. That's 100% from the from CDC, from CCSA here in Thailand, the whole thing. Raphael says the same scenario as in Western countries. Similar. Don C says, yes, of course, in-home queue is standard if you're not really sick. Yep, that's what they've started doing, which is what it is. I mean, that's a good way for people to stay home and not spread anything. Pepe says, do I even have to ask what this update is even about? 2023 Thailand trip? it may be, Pepe. We haven't. I've been 40 minutes into this thing just reading comments. We haven't even really gotten into a bunch of breaking news yet. I did talk about the potential of a COVID pass, which they're talking about now, which would be basically it not only does it strip away some of your rights and freedoms, but it basically forces you, whether you want to or not, to get a jab. And because you're not going to be afforded certain rights and privileges without it. I am categorically, I'll say, just as Benjamin Hart did, against that in every way. Lyle says, can you go to a beach and look at bikinis? There's nobody on the beaches, unless you're in Phuket. I guess there are some beaches that are open around the country that are not in dark red zones, so I'm sure you could still find the bikini watch if you wanted to. Don C says it's just like the U.S. was March, May of 2020. I agree with that. Don C says, Lyle, no bikini on the beach to look at. He's talking, yeah, I believe it. Tim says, oh, over and over and over and over. I just hit my monitor on its side. Okay. Stuck in Florida. You're back. Dude, I almost sent you an email like 20 times, but every time I tried to send you an email, I was like, I have this thing to do, I have this thing to do. I would think about it, and then I would do something else. I'm so glad to see you, man. Hope you are doing well, and very glad to see you back in the live stream. Extremely glad to see you back. I missed you, bud. So we're all happy to see Mr. Stuck in Florida. It's I'm really happy to see you, man. Really happy to see you. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Really appreciate it. And yes, today is the best I felt in 6 days. So I'm still not 100% by any means, but compared to yesterday, yes, I had a conversation with a good friend yesterday, and I told him honestly I was about 55 to 60%. Today I feel like I'm about maybe 75-ish. Something like that. So I'm getting there. Clarency says, be safe. So only Phuket is open. Right now, only Phuket is open to international tourism arrivals. You can still come and do the 14-day queue thing. As far as I know, if you want to come to Thailand long term, and retire or something like that, you can do that. So it is what it is. Everybody's saying, hey, just stuck in Florida. Anna says, DoMoreLife, the severity and enforcement of the lockdown is different away from Bangkok. The C-Pass will likewise be the same way from the big cities. I don't know. I just don't know. You may be right. I'm not sure. Stuck in Florida saying hello. He says, I don't know, and I'm not sure I want to. Jag says, when you put the C word in your video title, it puts like a disclaimer on your lives. Just letting you know. Yeah. Stuck in Florida saying hello. You guys are having a little conversation over there. Hope you guys made it through the storms in Florida. Okay. Charles White says, CDC saying people having the AZ and JJ will probably need a mRNA booster. They're still researching. Well, of course they are. Because the more they can get in you, the more money they make from the people that are buying them. Anon says another good reason to be a channel member, access to the exclusive uncensored DoMoreLife group online. And that is true. We do have a line group that I can add you to if you are a channel member. All you have to do is add me as a friend online, and then I will invite you in. Stuck in Florida is replying to everyone. Good. I'm glad. Gotta love Thailand. So it says hi to Stuck. What did Mr. Yam say here? I'm glad you're not saying, yeah, because you used the whole word there. I can't say it, but I'll read part of your comment. Nobody else can see it, Mr. Yam. It says, I'm glad you're not saying I'm an anti, and other BS. We don't curse on this live stream either, Mr. Yam, just to let you know. I keep hearing in Spain, where I currently live here, if you say anything against the narrative, you get canceled. Yep, I've heard that so many times, and it's true. A lot of people have a lot of bias towards people that don't believe in the jab or that don't want the jab. You got to realize the media plays a big role in that, and if the media can turn one group of people against another group of people, they will succeed. Tim says exchange rate today in Thailand, 33.4 Thai baht to $1 US. That's not bad, but it went up. The baht is gaining some ground again, which is not exactly what I expected. Why says best way to know the future of the jab is to research what's happening in Israel and compare it to Sweden, the two extreme approaches. You got a good point there, Wow. Very good point. Anna says, Lao Chan Beach is open, dark red zone too, but it's a Thai beach, so the girls are dressed to avoid a suntan, no bikinis. Oh, man. Tim says, my question, why don't they just let the human body make its own cure other than money? That is the metaphorical $1 million question, Tim. That's an excellent question, brother. I guess because it's a respiratory illness and it tends to be very severe and have a detrimental impact on the elderly and people with chronic respiratory conditions. That would be my guess. But who am I? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Stark says, I haven't been available on Friday and Saturday much lately, trying to do more life with what is available. I hear you, brother. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just glad to see you in the live stream. I wanted to be sure you're okay. And everything was all right. So now I know it is. I feel much, much, much better. Brady. Oh, hey, good morning to you, Jeremy. Good morning to you, sir. Robert Mack, good morning to you, sir. Tim says, what? We don't curse? Gosh darn it. You know. Stock Market Dummies says, did you get vaccinated, man? I got one jab. I got one AZ shot. So they said I had to wait 12 weeks on the next one. We'll see what happens. JX says, what's the average price of ASQ? Does anyone know? That's a good question. Anon can answer, but I think he's at brunch right now, and I don't know if he'll be able to answer. He just went through it. But you don't want a low-cost ASQ, I can tell you that for sure, because you're not going to be happy. You're going to wind up spending, I think he spent around, what did he spend? Was it 50 something thousand baht? Which is basically like, you can get in a nice place that'll have amenities and comforts and that kind of thing. If you want to come in for $2,000 US or less, I would say. I don't know what it costs to join the sandbox model in Phuket. I have no idea. They're still floating the 7+7 idea, which is 7 days on Phuket, 7 days on, and then you can travel to Samui, and they're Koh Phangan is in the air, and there are other islands out there as well. Miss Stuck says, Tim, fortunately, I have to type my comments, otherwise half of what I say would get deleted. I hear you, buddy. Yeah, it says depends on the quality of the hotel it checks. Anything from 10K going up. True. Tim says, Stucky, LOL, bro, you and me both. BC says, so Thai women are opposite of Western women, I assume, as the women here wear oil in the sun and pay for tanning memberships, whereas Thais cover up from the sun. That's true. Very true. Southeast Asia, it's, I don't know why the girls and other people want to be a lighter skin color, but they just do. If you go to the Philippines, for example, well, even here they have whitening creams everywhere. But my first experience was in the Philippines, and it was just every cream, every face gel, every shower gel, all had some kind of whitening cream in it. It was crazy. Stock Market Dummy says, how's the lockdown so far? Did any grab food orders? No. And the lockdown is not healthy. It's not productive. And there's nothing good about it. Nothing good about it. There's Mike's. He says, 10, that's exactly what I said about polio and measles. But of course, the I was that bad guy. Yeah. A lot of people with a lot of bias, man. Why are Thais against dark skin? I don't know. I love dark skin myself. Light skin, dark skin, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever. But it's a cultural thing, really. It's a cultural thing, and you have to see it to get used to it, Mr. BC. So we'll see what happens on that. I still got to get into the news here, guys. At some point. Let's see. Charles says JX cost was $1,400 USD for me. So Charles, that's right. I forgot you did it too, Charles. I hope that helps you, Jay. Tim says, Mikey, well, duh, you're always the bad guy, my friend. Yeah, he's not always the bad guy. Okay, let's get into some news because I want to kind of talk about what's going on. So, the Phuket governor announced that the area he had cordoned off for a week, set to expire last night at midnight, would be allowed to reopen. 1,360 people were tested for COVID by the Phuket Provincial Health Office and Phuket Municipality Medical Department, blah, blah, blah. 5 infections were found within the 860 Thai people tested, and 13 positive tests were uncovered in the 500 migrant workers tested. This amounts to only about 1.25% of those being infected, with a number considered low enough to reopen Phuket town location. Well, that's good, especially if you're on vacation. While the area within the perimeter of Ranong Road, did I say that right? Yep, Ranong Road, Soi Patarn, and Bangkok Road will be reopened. The markets are not fully prepared to reopen. The market needs to be thoroughly cleaned, and vendors need time to set up and ready their stalls for business again. Government officials thanked everyone involved in testing and reopening the area. Well, of course they did. Let's get back to the homepage here because I have some breaking news. Like 1 hour ago, breaking news. Let's see if we can get this article to pull up. I'll come back to your comments in just a second. The PM says COVID restrictions could be eased next month if enforced more efficiently now. How much more efficiently do you want us to get? That's my question. Okay. Thailand's PM said, and that's not a direct shot at the PM, of course. I'm just saying, like these medical, all the organizations are saying, you know, it's up to the people. The people have to do this. The people have to do that. The people are not the cause. Okay, people are not the cause of this. The virus itself is the cause. All right, you can't. People that unknowingly may be infected and are completely asymptomatic, they don't know they have it. So blaming it on the people just doesn't make sense to me either. But anyway, according to the news article, Thailand's PM says some COVID-19 restrictions may be relaxed from next month if the infection rate starts to come down. See, if the infection rate starts to come down, why are you worried about the infection rate if you're putting out tons and tons of jabs? If you're getting jabs in people's arms, why does the infection rate matter? The hospitalizations and the people that have severe illness, the people that are on vents and that kind of thing, that's where the focus should be, in my opinion. That's where it should be. And I'm not going against the PM here, his record. I'm talking about how Jeremy feels about this. Okay, how Jeremy feels about this. This is not, you guys can call lay majesty and all that stuff, but that's not what I'm doing. I've been supportive of the PM and the Thai government, trying their very best to do anything and everything that they can to get this country back on its feet. And I still support them in doing everything they can. I just think it's time to take a step back and have maybe have a different look at the way things are, and possibly have a different mindset, like looking at hospitalizations and people with severe illness versus looking at the daily infections, because there are going to be daily infections. I don't see them going away. You're not going to eradicate it. So what, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor. Until then, he says everybody should strictly adhere to the rules, thereby making the restrictions more effective in reducing the number of new cases and fatalities. Definitely don't want to see fatalities. The PM was addressing the nation via his Facebook page, according to Bangkok Post report. In his statement, he maintains that despite daily new cases surpassing the 20,000 mark, there are still signs that the infection rate is decreasing. He points out that the number of recovered patients has surpassed the number of new cases for several days now. That is true, and that is a great point to make. So, in other words, the number of people that are recovering are greater than the number of people who are getting infected. That's good. That's very, very good. And the more the jabs come out, the more likely that number is to continue rising. I agree with the PM on this, 100%. However, he admits to being concerned by the death rate, and frankly, so am I. I agree with him on that too. It's high. It's been in the 200s today, and sometimes today it was in the 300s. We've seen a couple days of 300s, and that's high for Thailand. Quote, "We don't want a single person to die. The public health ministry has concluded that if the government increases the efficiency of the lockdown measures, we will be able to reduce the number of infections and deaths and further." And I really can't say too much because I live here, but the lockdown measures are just he adds the lockdown measures were extended until the end of the month in the hope of decreasing the infection rate, thereby enabling some restrictions to be eased. I just don't see the infection rate dropping that fast, that soon. I would hope that it wouldn't be about the infection rate. It would be about the recovery rate. Let's make it about the recovery rate. Let's look at the people who are being discharged. It comes out every day. If the discharge numbers keeps going up and up and up, then let's think that the jabs are working. These lockdown measures are just, I don't see how you could and then the quote comes, if the lockdown is enforced more efficiently, we may be able to survive the peak of infection curve expected by the end of this month, and infections are expected to slow down next month. Then we can ease curves on some activities and businesses. My question is just not to argue with the PM in any way, form, or fashion. I'm just asking, what do you want us to do more efficiently? What can we do more efficiently? I'm not saying that everybody is doing everything as efficient as possible, but what do you want? What can we do? Thai government, please tell me, what can I do to be more efficient? This is my day. Okay, this is my day. I wake up. I work 2 days a week. So on the 2 days a week that because I'm currently partially furloughed. So on the 2 days a week that I work, I get up, I get myself ready. I go to work for 9 hours. I come home. Straight home, do not pass go, do not collect $200. And that's it. I don't interact with other people. I wear a mask everywhere I go. It's just me and my girlfriend here. On the days that I don't have to work at my job, I'm sitting at this computer working on something, whether it be the internship, YouTube, my online teaching gig that I have, which consumes a lot of time. And I'm not communicating with the outside world. There's a little grocery store right down below where I live here. I go down there with masked up, of course. That staying away from people, socially distancing myself. That's what I do. That's what I do during the entire week. Okay, and I make one trip to Macro every week, masked. Of course, using hand sanitizer and staying socially distanced. So how do you want me to more efficiently produce results from these measures? What can I do to be more efficient? And that what I just gave you doesn't sound like much of a life, because it's not. However, better days are on the horizon. He has called on the public, talking about the PM, he has called on the public to work together to combat the spread of the virus, adding that there may be numerous asymptomatic carriers who have not yet been tested. Furthermore, even fully vaccinated people can contract the spread of the virus. That's not me saying this. That's the Prime Minister saying this. Therefore, everyone should adhere to the same guidelines regardless of whether they are high-risk contacts or not. So now it doesn't matter if you're jabbed, not jabbed, doesn't matter. You should treat yourself as an unjabbed person. That's basically what he said. So you have to follow all those rules and regulations just as if you were unjabbed. Doesn't matter if you've had both your jabs or not. You guys see where this is going? In other news, the Bangkok Post reports that Australia has pledged 2.8 million Australian dollars, over 67.5 million baht, to help Thailand fight the pandemic. Today, Thailand has reported 20,902 new infections and 301 deaths. Sounds a little scary to me. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't sound a little scary to me, because I've become accustomed to these numbers. And, you know, I just don't see why the infection rate is such a problem. I can't. Somebody can help me understand that lately. Check this out. This is breaking news right here. Okay, this is something I never thought I would read about Thailand. The CCSA approves the Sputnik, and I know I just said the whole name of the word, but I want you guys to be clear about this. We'll call it the Sput, okay? Vax, allowing Russian sandboxers. So they've approved that, so now that Russians can come into the sandbox. The CCSA Situation Administration quietly okayed. Why quietly? Quietly okayed the Russian Sput jab as one of the accepted vaccine brands for international travelers entering sandbox destinations in Thailand. The vax had previously failed to receive approval from the Food and Drug Administration for import and use in Thailand. The Department of Disease Control is now expected to approve the order from the CCSA by the end of August. moving one step closer for the ability for Russians and others from the dozens of countries who use that particular jab to travel to Thailand soon. Tropical Thai destinations have long seen strong visitor numbers from Russia, with Phuket seeing 1.4 million Russians before the closure of international tourism. With Thailand closed, many Russians holidayed in Turkey, Greece, Turkey and Greece during this mess, showing they still desire to travel. The Tourism Authority of Thailand hopes that 500,000 Russian travelers will visit this year now that the Sputniks has been approved. The approval of the Sputniks for international travelers opens the doors of Thailand, not just to Russian travelers, but for millions of travelers around the world in countries that have imported or produced that particular jab. Data is conflicting, but about 50 countries have or plan to have the jab, with India and South Korea both contracted to produce well over 1 billion vaccines. Countries like Vietnam, Turkey, Mexico, Argentina have all ordered the Russian Sputniks, and India, one of Thailand's fastest growing tourist demographics before all the mess happened, ordered 250 million doses, meaning this new approval could allow millions more tourists to enter. Well, that's if the country's open. Okay. The TAT says they expected the first chartered flights from Russia will be in October. And the TAT plans to work with commercial airlines to get international flights into Phuket, scheduled to facilitate Russian travelers coming to the sandbox into Thailand. Plans are also in place for new sandbox regions like the islands of Koh Larn, which is off the coast of Pattaya, Koh Chang, and Koh Kut. In Chonburi and Trat, that could be accessed via Utapao Airport in Rayong. As well as international travel bubbles will also be negotiated with nearby countries like Vietnam, Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Korea. Great! Let's just open the country. The TAT will also work with Bangkok Airways to reinstate flights from Phuket to Samui, as the 7+7 scheme was approved by the CCSA to allow international travelers to stay just 7 days in Phuket before traveling to a handful of approved destinations in Penang, Krabi, and Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, and Koh Tao. Well, the Koh Chang opening is great. I hope that works out. I hope all these approvals work out. That is the good news. It sounds like they're trying to open some of this stuff. That's fantastic, because that means that the Thailand is trying. They're putting forth some effort here, and it at least they're trying. Again, I told you before, I don't agree with every decision Thailand's made, but I stand by the Thai government trying. I stand by their efforts. I just wish they would get outside the box a little bit on their thinking. So, that being said, let's see here. Do I have anything else very, very important to tell you right now? So this is I'm just going to read the headline from this story, because this is not a doomsday channel, but I just want to read 55 seconds ago. This was posted. A 7-year-old is living alone after the whole family contracted the virus. Officials asked neighbors to help out. I don't know, guys. Let's read this last bit of breaking news, and then I'll go to your comments, and we'll do the comments there. So, Phuket entry requirements updated to admit some domestic travelers. I read this the other day. You can tell me what you think about this. Phuket officials have amended the requirements for domestic travel to the island, allowing some categories to enter. The measures are in place until at least the end of the month, according to TTR Weekly. Domestic arrivals who meet the criteria below can enter Phuket via land, sea, or air. Anyone returning to Phuket who can produce a house registration book that confirms they are a resident of the island, or anyone who can show evidence of being permanently employed on the island. Number 2, foreign tourists in the country under the Phuket Sandbox Scheme or other tourism projects, drivers or service providers who can prove they are operating as part of an authorized tourism scheme such as a Sandbox. Number 3, anyone arriving for essential business who cannot postpone the visit. Anyone else traveling for essential reasons who will be admitted on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the checkpoint bosses. So you could plan a trip to Phuket and get turned around. All domestic travelers who meet the criteria above must be fully vaccinated with one of the Sinos, or AZ, or a combination of both. Or, I'm sorry, a combination of the Big Sino and AZ. Other approved vaccines include Pfizer, Mod, and the single-dose J&J, which must have been administered at least 14 days prior to arrival on the island. Recovered patients will be required to have a negative PCR antigen test within 72 hours of travel. For more information on how to get to Thailand during this situation, it says to click here. The source is TTR Weekly. So that pretty much is going to cover up the breaking news for today. And now I'm going to scroll all the way back up and get your comments because I have no idea where I was. Let's see here. There where I am. Tim was calling Stuck in Florida the bad guy, which I think is hilarious because he's definitely not a bad guy. All right. Stuck in Florida says to Mike, she said I was okay for an old guy, but I'll continue to strive for awesome. I love that. That's so funny. At Tim, it's the cost of being an innovator. Yes, it is, 100%. Tim says, Jeremy, go ahead and read the news while we carry on. No problem. I did. BC says, I heard someone mention the dark skin is looked down upon and you're considered poor, ignorant. Basically, it's that. Yeah, all that's true in this part of the country, this part of the world. That is true. Because they assume that if you have the darker skin, you've been outside working in farms, fields, you've been poor all your life and that kind of thing. Me personally, I love dark skin. So it's, I can find plenty of light skinned women where I'm from. But it really, light skin, dark skin, it doesn't really matter, to me. It is what it is. That's the person that makes the, looks are going to fade. Character is who someone is, and that's what's important. But yeah, you're correct, BC, in your thinking. That is what a stigma. Let's call it a stigma or a bias. Charles White says pale skin is preferred to show they aren't poor working girl. ISO girls are pale. Not working fields. That's what I was saying. It's tradition, idea of beauty, says prep for it. Every country has old beliefs. That is an old belief. It is not relevant in any way, I don't think. We all know skin color is irrelevant anyway, just in general. So it is what it is. What's up, Dino? Good to see you, bud. Thank you for dropping by. Janice, hello. Good to see you from the Philippines. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're staying safe over in the Philippines also. Tim says, I don't care if it's dark skin, medium skin, or light skin, just as long as it's skin. That's a good point, Tim. BC says, thanks for the info, Charles. Prep for it. I appreciate it. Dino says, we can't fly from Australia, so I'm building a raft. Who's on board? There you go, brother. There you go. Innovation. I like it. I like it. Thinking outside the box. That's a good one right there, brother. Dino says, yeah, Tim, by the way, it's going here. I would have a better chance to row. I'm sorry to hear that. I know Australia is having a hard time with all this. I really do. And I'm very sorry to hear that, guys, because that just doesn't sound like a very good situation to be in. Tim says, Dino, just bring a radio and flare gun with extra flares. There you go. That's an idea. Charles White says, Tim, jabs don't prevent, only reduce effects. There is an argument to be made there, but some say it will, in some cases, prevent. But we're learning now that a lot of people are contracting the illness after they've had both jabs. So you just have to be careful. I guess the good news is when you supposedly if you contract the illness after having your jabs, it's much the symptoms resolve themselves much faster and the severity is much less. That's my understanding of it. Tim says, Charles, I still say the human body will find a cure for its own like it does for any other virus. I'm not against that statement, Tim, but I still believe everybody has the right for their choice. Charles says, I want to see the number of recovered versus the infected from 2 weeks ago. Probably going to be similar. Yeah, and you can look that up. It's readily available. Stuck in Florida says, Tim, if that was the case, things that took people out for thousands of years wouldn't have needed a cure. That's a fair point, Stuck. That's fair. That's fair. If you look back at things like polio and smallpox and things like that, that's a fair point. Fair point. Tim says, so what does a whole country, Thailand, do when it economically gets belly up? That's going to be a good question because it's probably going to happen. Well, I don't want to say it's probably going to happen. It will happen if these lockdowns and these travel restrictions continue for foreign and domestic travel over and over and over again. If you can't travel interprovincially here in Thailand, if you can't go on vacation, if you can't go outside your province, if you can't do those things, the inevitable is some type of financial collapse. I don't know what it would be. Geraldo Ribia, out of interest, any idea of Thailand's death from influenzas, etc. this year? I would, as Mike's like to say, I would submit to you that probably the influenza has been marked up as C19. Tim says, nope, for one, I'm holding my government accountable for what they said. Words matter. Okay, fair enough. Charles says, Dino, let me see here. Dino J, swing by Texas and pick me up on his raft. That's awesome. Tim says, yeah, it was a satellite, Tim. Sure was. Tim says, let's see. Not all my brain cells are fried. Fair enough, Tim. Charles says, yep. Dino says, extra padding there, Charles. Tim says, wow, Charles, I thought you were already in Thailand. Charles says, work missed me going back in February. Good for you, Charles. Good for you. Tim says, speaking of Rayon, Ross is not here tonight. I know this was an unannounced live stream. I didn't plan on having it. I had no intention of having a live stream today, but I felt good enough to do it when I woke up this morning. So I thought, why not? Right. I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. And as far as I know right now, with the way I feel, we'll have a live stream Saturday at 9 a.m. Bangkok time, be 10 p.m. Friday on the East Coast. in America. And Sunday, 9 a.m. Bangkok time, be 10 p.m. on the East Coast in America on Saturday. So everybody be sure to tune in. Lyle says, Dino J, don't say paddling. He just might like it. That's funny. Joe Jutt says, can you give a shout out to Jackson in Michigan? Jackson in Michigan, what is up? Got another PayPal. I am feeling like a blessed man today, for sure. Let the email come through from, if it comes through. I don't know if it will. Maybe it won't. There it is. From Mr. Charles White. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. $20. Thank you so much. Very, very, very much appreciated. And you guys have no idea how much things like that really help. Mr. Y says, those with no life and a snitching nature thought the jab was going to make them special. They must be crying now. Bless their hearts. That's very interesting. I can't comment too much on that comment, but I do believe a lot of people thought that was going to be the cure-all, end-all to everything. And obviously it's not. Not saying you shouldn't get it. Not saying you should. I've taken the first jab and I will take the second one. Not saying you shouldn't get it, but I think that people thought it was going to be once you had both of them, you were done, didn't have to worry about it anymore. And well, that's just not the case. Tim says the only reason I got the jabs was so I did not have to wear a mask, and so far I have not. Cool. Eric in Virginia, what's up, bud? I got it because I knew traveling international, most countries would require it. That's pretty much the same reason I got it. Charles White says, Tim, wish I was spent the month of April there and had to come back for work phone migration. Not good. Tim says, Charles, screw it, bro, retire and move to Thailand permanently. I hope he does. Law says, Eric in Virginia, same here, on point. I agree. And Stuck says hello. Tim says, stigma and bias. Wow, Jeremy, you really are a teacher, breaking out the big word. So we're back in business. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by back in business, but it's in terms of DoMoreLife, the channel. Yeah, we're back. See, I can't get out and make travel vlogs for you guys, and that really depresses me. I can't get out and make any vlogs really because I'd have to make them through a mask, which is cool. Scheduled times, we're back in business. Yes, Tim, correct. We're back in business. I do have to say that the way things are looking over here, it almost seems as though they're setting themselves up for a soft reopening of some of these places. Because the economy and the people, I don't know if you know what's going on the ground over here, and we're not going to talk about it on the channel, okay? But in Bangkok and in other places, there have been some disagreements amongst the people and the government, and those people are gathering in larger and larger and larger numbers. What that means, I'm not sure. But what I do know for sure is that that has the potential to not end well. And I don't want to see that happen. That's for sure. So, that being said, let's hope that this COVID pass thing doesn't come to fruition. Let's hope that foreign and domestic travel get back to where they need to be. Let's hope that the country reopens sometime soon. I would love to see this country reopen and just go full force with the full blown recovery. Mr. Y, we can't use that in here. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I apologize. I have to remove that comment, but I love you, man. Eric says, what I don't get, despite there are different variations of the thing, why is it we can take one jab for all those things, etc.? Let me remove that just to be on the safe side. Maybe because there wasn't variants. I don't know. I'm not sure. Also, maybe because it took years to develop those jabs, whereas this jab was developed in a year or less. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Just a theory. Charles says, Tim, wish I could retire now. Working man with poor retirement plan, so I have to keep working. I hear you, brother. I understand. Eric says, we can put a man on the moon, but we can't handle this. I know it's weird. It's a very weird situation. Very, very, very unusual situation. It's almost like they don't want it to get handled completely. Like they don't want an end to come to it. But that's, I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's even plausible. I'm just saying it kind of, if you step back and look at it, one might think that. So, just depends on your perspective. Tim says, Charles, that sucks. I'm 55, retired on 100% VA compensation. Good for you, Charles. Eric says, good point, Jeremy. Guess just getting impatient. I'm beyond impatient. I understand, Eric, 100%. I am beyond impatient with these lockdowns and everything else. So I understand completely. Stuck says, look at the variations of treatment for pox over the years, as well as other treatments. Things take time. I agree. They do. They take time, and there will probably be different versions of different jabs that come out for this. And that will probably be, that will probably put a bigger dent in the illness than what we've seen so far. I certainly hope it does. So that's a very fair point, Stuck. And, like I said, thank you guys for giving this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you hadn't already, please do. But I try to balance between everybody's opinion and everybody's thoughts. And you guys make fair points on both sides of the fence. You make points, and some of you that straddle the fence still make good points. So that's a very important thing to remember. Respect everybody's opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but just respect that they have one. Tim said, Eric says, big money, big pharma, of course. Tim says, I wonder how much money these vax companies are making from this. We couldn't even put a number on it, I'm sure. Eric says, glad we could help out, Tim. Charles says, I'm 56 and a slave to my good health, LOL. I hear you, bud. Good health is nothing to play with. I've learned that over the last 6 days. It impacted tremendously my ability to do my job in online teaching. It impacted my ability to complete tasks for other things. It had me laid up in the bed for several days. It's had me up all night, just about every night. I've gotten only a couple hours of sleep, which makes it even worse. Last night, I was finally able to get some actual sleep, which is why we're having a live stream today. And I'm excited. So I want to say, to be absolutely clear on this, just so you know, that's right, Tim. You don't understand how important your health is till you don't have it anymore. That's 100% correct. So, and Eric in Virginia says the taxpayers here in the States are going to pay dearly. I'm selling stock, Bitcoin, everything. The time is near. Wow. That's a big statement. So, as a foreigner living in Thailand who is a non-immigrant designated by my visa, I don't have the right to really criticize the government, and that's not what this video was about. This video was more about asking questions and proposing alternative methods to some of the measures that are currently in place. And what more, as I said before, The Prime Minister has asked us to do things more efficiently. What more can I do efficiently? So in no way, form, or fashion do I discredit the Thai government's attempts to make this better. In no way, form, or fashion do I uh, um, try to discredit people in the government for trying to make the right decisions. I just think there's more than one way of thinking about things, and people's minds should be open to that, in my opinion. With that being said, you guys know I love Thailand. I love this country, or I wouldn't be here. I've had some of the best experiences of my life here in Thailand, and I will have more. I guarantee it. Last few comments here. Stuck says Eric in Virginia, in ways this technology in years to come will be like the moon landing. There will be many things that come from all the research out of this. And you have a fair point there, Stuck, because I've researched the mRNA stuff and what it's the purpose of it, the original purpose of it, and what it's intended to do in the future. And if it works, it will be miraculous in so many ways. I've done a lot of research on it, and I know exactly what you're getting at, that you are not saying intentionally, and I appreciate that. So, yeah, it will seem like a moon landing in years to come. And we just hope that it continues to get better and better. We hope that the technology continues to get better and better, and we hope that it's implemented better and better. How about that? Like, how about instead of playing the blame game, where we blame the people for everything, which it's not the people's fault. The people didn't create this thing. Well, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say the people are not going around, to the best of my knowledge, and intentionally spreading this stuff. Okay. So let's talk about accountability with the people who are in control. Let's talk about that. Let's hold them accountable. Let's not point fingers at the blame game and go against each other. Let's try to find ways to make life better for one another, whether we agree or disagree on the course of action that should be taken. Call your senators, call your congressmen. I'm talking about people in states and that kind of, because over here foreigners have no power to do anything, and I understand that. This is just an opinionated, nothing but information piece on YouTube that should not be taken to heart, and you should definitely not think less of the Thai government because of this video. In fact, you should think more, because they are trying, and they are trying to do stuff that works. Unfortunately, they just haven't quite gotten there yet, and they're still stuck on these lockdowns. And I personally just don't see the effectiveness of them. And there are a lot of people that feel the same way. I understand where the PM's coming from. Completely. I understand he believes, according to the people around him, that the lockdowns are the best course of action. And for that reason, I will abide by them. And other people should abide by them. But in the long term, I feel like the lockdowns are going to do more damage than the virus itself, in my opinion. That's just what I think. Tim says, good night. Yep, Tim's old and retired, but yet he has to sleep. All right, Tim. Love you, man. See you, bud. Let me go back up here. Charles White says, yeah, I agree. My mental health is the only thing affected. I want to be back in Thailand so much. It's all I can think about. Mental health has been affected in many ways, Charles, by many people in many different areas, including myself. So what we want to do is just try our best to look at the positive aspects. So we have banks opening in shopping malls. We have a few restrictions lifted in Phuket and Sandbox. They've approved the 7+7. That's good for tourism. They're looking at opening some more islands, some popular tourist destinations. That's great for tourism. There is some positive takeaways from this, and we have to remember this. Okay. So there is good stuff. Eric says we all love the Thai people and their country, and we support them 100%. That's why we're here. I agree 100%. 100%, Eric. Eric says, all I can say is the Rolling Stones has resumed their postponed tour, and on October 29th, it will be in Tampa. Rock on. Life goes on. I hear you, man. I hear you. So, that being said, guys, I'll see you Saturday and Sunday, and we'll have some solidified topics, and we'll have an open discussion one of those days where we just talk about things that are going on, whatever you guys want to think about. Stuck says he went to their Steel Wheels tour thinking it would be their last. That's funny. Guys, just remember, keep, whether you pray or whether you think or whether you send positive energy out into the world, just keep Thailand in your thoughts. And when it comes to America, do the best you can. Call your senators, call your representatives, call your Congress members, send them emails. Do what needs to be done to take care of the people, to take care of the people of the states, to take care of the people of Thailand. That's what the people of Thailand make Thailand such a great place, and that's what we want to see taken care of for sure. So, Stuck in Florida says, great seeing JC. Take care of yourself. It's great to see you too, bud. Take care of yourself. I appreciate it. Eric, see you. I want to thank BC. Thanks, man. I want to tell everybody that contributed, I, from the heart, appreciate it very, 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 very much. Truly appreciate it. I hope this was informative, and then you got value. If you got enough value of it, out of it, please share the video with somebody. The channel could really use it. The engagement. Also, I want to thank my moderators for doing such a great job, because you guys always do a great job. I want to thank anyone who made a comment in the comment section, because you guys are what makes the chat lively and keeps it going. And I truly, truly appreciate that. And also, thank you for those of you that hit the thumbs up button. And if you hadn't, I hope you do so on your way out. So, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. This is as Stuck says, the DoMoreLife family live stream. And we love having them. I will see you guys Saturday and Sunday. I love you all. Whatever you do today, be safe. And don't forget to do more life. See you guys.